So I recently bought the new Oraimo Riff boards, and then this crazy idea set into my head. What if I make a commercial for them, but then I'll email them asking for sponsorship with the commercial as some sort of a collateral? Well, that's one crazy idea, which is great, but then I have no camera, I don't have lights, I don't have any gear to make a commercial, which are basically the fundamentals for a commercial. But then I remembered I'm a VFX artist and I can create basically everything in the universe. So I thought again, and then I finally landed on one other crazy idea. So today, I'm going to make a commercial for Oraimo completely in. Before we model, there's actually something we call blueprints, which are basically like the skeleton of anything that you're going to model. And those things actually guide you to model whatever that you're going to model with perfect accuracy. But here's the key: I'm not in an Oraimo company and I don't have any blueprints to any of the airports inside of Oraimo. I'm basically going to be modeling with my own eye, trying to get the dimensions myself. Like, I know it's not going to be possible, but it's worth a try. So it actually started with a cube. As always, I started with modeling the case, which I thought was simple, but then I had to subdivide it and divide it into two because I was going to be animating the top part of the cap opening and down and blah blah. Then I had to extrude in and out again, I think so, just to create the USB charging ports there. And then I created some two spheres and put it there for the lights and the other thing. But then I went online and downloaded the Oraimo logo, went into Photoshop, and then found the work parts. No, not found, created the work parts, exported them as Illustrator, blah blah, sent them inside Cinema 4D, then extruded them and then placed them on the case. And then it was now time to model the actual earpieces itself, which actually took a whole lot out of me because that was one of the most difficult things that I had ever modeled. And after I modeled it, it actually looked like a lookout hole, so it didn't work. I actually couldn't model the whole thing well without the blueprints. But then I found an image of it on Google, so I'm going to use that like as a guide to now do the whole modeling process. Even though they are not actually blueprints, but it will help me a little bit the modeling process. So my model is not going to be accurately accurate like this. You guys will understand because I'm not modeling with blueprints. I'm just imagining some stuff. So take two, action. So this time, since I had a reference, I was modeling at 750 miles per hour, and I did basically the same thing that I did inside the previous method that didn't work. But it was just that I had a reference to just guide me, and this time it was not actually looking like a hole. But then I worked on the case, and the case took me about 10 hours. I'm just joking. But then the case took a lot of time, and then I went on to the actual earpiece. Oh, the actual earpiece took me about 7 hours to make because I wasn't just really getting what I actually wanted. And then I had to now go inside of the case itself to model the top of the case because the bottom of the case was actually going to waste a whole lot of my time. So I made a plan that whenever I'm going to do the camera animation, I'm going to make sure that the bottom side, inside of the bottom side, does not show. But then I was trying to do some experimenting with the texturing and the lighting just to make sure that every single thing that I planned on doing is actually going to work and I'm not going to break in the middle of my actual workflow. So after all the modeling, I then textured the whole model ready for my storyboard that I'm actually going to show you guys what I thought of right now. So under normal circumstances, I'd have to create a storyboard to show you guys what I'm actually going to do. But here's the case: it's a commercial. It has a whole bunch of shots which I cannot illustrate because I'm way bad at illustration. So what I'm actually going to do is that I'm going to use my phone and then I'm going to film the real airport itself in a way that it will actually give me references when I'm going to do that inside of Cinema 4D. And I'm going to create my camera movements and the rendering and everything. So basically done with the modeling. So now it's time to use the references that I took the last time and then starts the animation. Then I can now render and then I can now... So as I had already explained, I'm going to be following the camera movements that I filmed with my phone, and then I'm just going to create some simple scenes and some simple lights, textures, and just create a whole environment and create a whole bunch of scenes before I can now start rendering them. So right now, after finishing all my scenes, I now have to render all of them as PNG sequences, and as I had calculated, each and every single scene is going to take 7 hours to render, multiplied by 14 scenes, which you know how many days it's going to take. So
Actually been 3 days since I've been rendering all these stuff. I think on the fourth day today it's done. And now I actually don't know what to do next, but I have this idea of doing all the color grading and pre-VFX work I want to do inside of After Effects. And then I'll send it back into Premiere Pro, then edit the whole video without all the text effects. And I can now bring everything back into After Effects and then do the text effects, but then render them as movie PNG sequences and then come and blend all of them together. I think that's going to make my workflow much easier because I'm going to be speed ramping a whole lot of the clips inside of Premiere. I don't want the text to also follow that, you understand? So like, yeah.
So I'm going to repeat basically whatever I said inside the previous video. I'm going to import all my PNG sequences into After Effects, and I'm going to color grade all of them because I like color grading inside of After Effects. Then I'm going to export all of them as MOV sequences into Premiere Pro. Then I'm going to edit the whole video without text effects, but then I'm just going to add some simple text on the videos. Then I'm going to render two versions. I'm going to render the one with the text and then render the one without text. Then I'm going to overlay all of them inside of After Effects. Then I'm not going to use the one that I rendered with text as a reference to now create my actual text animations. Then I'll pre-comp it, and then I would now do what? I'll now render it as a PNG MOV and then send it back to my actual project file inside of Premiere Pro, and then just place it on top of it. When I'm done with all that, then I'll just turn off all those simple text layers that I had created already, and then I have my actual commercial. But during the process, I was hungry, so I went out to grab some food. But then during that process, I had this idea again.
It's actually a Sunday now, and I'm kind of like going to buy food. But then I was passing by my usual forest spot where I usually take my videos and my pictures, and I was like, what if I could do some sort of a transition from the 3D render into reality, like a picture of the airport inside of someone's ear. And like I thought that idea was great, so we actually just stopped by. Hey, Isaac, yep. So we're actually going to take some pictures of the airport. The airports are going to be the main focus too. We're not going to really make someone's face show. Like, yeah.
Yep, so after taking all the pictures, I actually brought it into After Effects, created a nice transition from one of the airports into the ear, and it just lasted for about 1 second or something. And then this time I wasn't lazy to do the sound design, so I actually did the sound design, went onto Uppbeat.io, a place where you can find the best free music, link in the description. Then I just went and found some cool music there and went on Production Crates and found some sound effects from there too. Then I did the whole sound design of the project, and then it was done. But then before I show you guys the final video, I'm going to be uploading this on Instagram, but then I'm going to be emailing Oraimo themselves. All you can do is you can just go and tag Oraimo under the comment section, or maybe here, or if you want, you can also take their email in the description and then send this to them and just find a way to get me a brand deal with Oraimo. I definitely have to get a brand deal with Oraimo. That one is by force. Whew. So 17 hours later, after compositing and blah blah blah, I present to you the final commercial.